Hey residents of Meepletown, if you've watched our videos before, you know that we enjoy architects, we enjoy Raiders of the North Sea, so we said, let's give Paladins a try. So that is where we are today. Let's get to the table and look at Paladins of the West Kingdom.
All right, so we have Paladins of the West Kingdom set up and we are ready to play this game. Now I am going to be the first player, and as we always do, we're just gonna start playing through the game, and as we play, we are going to teach the game. So the very first thing that we're gonna do as a round begins is we're gonna flip over one of these cards. Now the first 3 rounds, oh man, I knocked those out of the way. The first 3 rounds are gonna reveal in-game scoring. So if we have 5 monks that have been sent out on commission, we're gonna score 4 victory points at the end of the game. We don't know what those are gonna be. These are gonna be extra worker placement spots, which is neat. We may not get to them as well, I wanna say that. Actually, you know what, I'm just gonna flip one over so they can take a look at it.
Yeah, there we go.
So this would be an extra worker placement spot that we can use during the round. So you get more spots as the game progresses, which is kind of neat. So now that that thing has been flipped over, before we start the game, this does not happen every round. Before we start the game, Dean is gonna pick one of these workers, because I'm gonna go first, and he's going to recruit that worker. So you pick one of those, and then I'm going to, and then the game will begin.
All right.
You gotta pick your worker first. What are you doing? Were you not listening to a word that I said?
The funny thing is, I knew which worker I wanted to take, and I just started flipping those over.
All right, normally these are gonna cost money based on which one we pick, but just for the very beginning of the game, it does not.
I'll tell you what I took. I took the Abbot, which means anytime I take this absolve action to remove one of these jars, I'm going to gain a provision.
Okay, I'm taking this guy. That means every time I garrison, I'm gonna get a white laborer. So now we're gonna slide these down. Dean was so excited to flip over.
Can I flip over these 3 cards now?
Yes, you can.
Excellent.
And then we're gonna flip over 3 cards. You're gonna flip over 1 card extra than the amount of players you have. So, because we have 2 players, we're flipping over 3 cards. The next thing we're gonna do is we are gonna draw the top 3 cards off of our Paladin decks here. We are going to choose 1 to use for the round and place it right here. Then we're going to choose 1 and put it right back on the top of the deck. And then we're gonna choose 1 and put it at the very bottom of the deck. So, okay, I think I'm gonna do that, even though I don't know if that is, I do not have 3 great cards to start off here, but I'll do that. Let's do that and do that.
Go ahead and take your workers that are at the top left-hand corner.
That's right. So we're gonna reveal these, and we're gonna have on these cards workers that we're gonna receive, and then because I'm the first player, I'm gonna pick one of these tavern cards and take the workers that are on those cards as well. Ooh, okay. Wow.
That good, huh?
Well, honestly, there's a lot to think about in this game. So for this video, I'm probably not going to play that optimally because you can. Isn't there?
Yeah. There's a lot of things to think about.
A lot of thinkiness. I'm going to take this and make you take a thing. So I'm going to take 2 blue workers, a white worker, and then I'm going to take another blue and a red. I'm just going to place them up here. We don't have a lot of spot. We've kind of crammed this in here just because it's so wide to fit it in the...
It is quite the table hog for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so
I'm flipping this over so he can't use that one. He has to pick another one.
I'll take this one. Now, what happens if there is a purple worker here that I'm going to take, which has a name?
A suspicion.
Sure. I will take a suspicion card. And this can give you a benefit, which it does in this case. It'll give me a coin from here. And but also can be a negative because if you have the most suspicion.
Yeah, so when all these come out, whenever we finish these 4 more coins, then whoever has the most suspicion is going to incur a debt. They're also going to get to lose half of theirs, but you have to keep those over the course of the game. So
that's right.
Anytime you take a purple worker, which you can do on the board or anything, you have to take a suspicion. So
and a debt gives you -3 points at the end of the game, unless you're able to flip that debt over throughout a variety of different ways, and then you'll actually gain a point instead of losing 3. So go ahead and place your workers.
Yep. Alrighty. So I'm going to go first, and the first thing I am going to do. Do I want to do that first? Let's see. What do you have?
Would you look at it?
Okay, I want to see what kind of workers you have. Let's see what you're going to do.
Oh, I don't. You may have said this, but I didn't say what my card does. So,
I did not
with the
say
card
mine
that I kept Samson, who, whenever I develop, which is removing one of these and putting them over here, you'll see that happen. It's going to cost 2 fewer silver. Normally, that costs 4. It will cost me 2.
That is correct. All right, so I'm going to.
You still didn't say what your guy does.
Yes, I didn't. When I garrison, it costs no provisions. So garrisoning is going to be removing these red buildings here, and they cost provisions based on how many I've already taken off the board. So if I do that this round, it costs me no provision, which it kind of stinks because only 1 provision's not good, not that great. I would have normally probably have saved this for later so that I could have maybe when I get further on, but I didn't, just for video so you all can see what it's like. So again, that's why I'm not going to be playing optimally, but
I will.
But we want to show you how the game works. So I'm placing both of these workers here. I could place 1 worker of any color and have gotten 1 coin, or I could place 1 worker of any color and a blue to get 3 coins. Now I could not place this, by the way, and then later on in the round take 1 worker, I would take 1 coin, then later in the round get 2. It's either 1 or 2, and that's it. So I get 3 coins now.
All right, and like I mentioned, I'm going to take the development action because it's going to cost me 2 less. And so what I'll do is I'll place, in this case, development, you can place whatever color workers you want right there. And so I will place a white and a green, and when I take this one off, it's going to give me an additional white worker. And now you probably can't see this on the camera, but in all of the spots on the right hand of the board, you've got these dotted white line boxes around that.
In most of the spots.
Sorry, I didn't mean all the spots. In all the spots, they have places where you can take out positions. And so what I'm going to do is I take my development house, I'm going to put it over top of this in the absolve action because with the abbot, I want to at least kind of lean a little bit towards that. Yeah.
Which is like Orleone if you ever played that.
That's right.
Alrighty, right. So then next thing I'm going to do, yikes, I just don't love doing this, and it's so expensive, but I'm going to anyways. I'm going to develop, which is really brutally expensive, especially early when I've got 6 coins. No, Dean got to only pay 2. Did you pay your 2 coins, by the way?
Oh, of course I did.
Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? Are you literally kidding me, Dean? All right, so I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to go over here to garrisoning because I'm going to focus on that because for obvious reasons, hopefully, because I've got this card that'll build me a little engine there, and at least this round it doesn't cost me provision, so I do get 1 white laborer as well. Yeah,
so it kind of gives you something to play for at the beginning. So I'm going to, by taking that card, which by the way, just by looking at that, this one gives me a provision right off the bat that I did not take. So sorry about that.
So yes, there are. It's like any of the other games of Shem Phillips. They do have lightning bolts where you can get things immediately, or it happens.
All right, so I'm going to take the absolve action, which I'm going to remove this. Now you have to have the number of blue spaces moving up on the blue track equal to or more than whatever jar you're removing. Now this is a 0, and so I don't have to have any, but I actually have 2 from my card.
Yeah, so these are one-time or bonuses only for the round. So I've got 3 strength and 1 influence. One influence.
All right, so I'm going to remove that. That actually cost me a coin. It says right there. So it's going to cost me a coin. I'm going to take this, and when I remove that, I'll move up 1 on my the black track there.
Faith.
I'm just going to use the colors. A little less thematic than John. All right, and then I'm going to put it in the faith spot, which will move me up again. And right now, I have a victory point for the end of the game. How about that?
Yes, you do.
And that's my turn.
Alrighty, so I am going to go ahead and come over here and garrison, so I can show you. Whoops, I got to put the right worker. So again, this is blank, so I can put any color worker. I'm going to. Ooh, wait a second. Hold up. That would be not smart of me. Should save my blue guy. All right, so I'm going to do the garrisoning action, which in this action, in case this doesn't happen over the playthrough, the commission and the garrison are very, very similar. We're going to send monks or these buildings out to some of these spots over here. So I'm going to remove this, which I have to have send out a provision, but I do not have to because of this right here. Then for this round, I have, like I said, 3 strength, which I'm going to look for garrisoning garrisoning purposes, I'm going to look over here. And we didn't make mention of this, but these little colors next to these actions here are going to say what you need to have and then what you gain.
Right.
So because I need to have strength, so this will help you remember that. I've got 3, and so to pick which spot I'm allowed to go to, I actually look at this red number here. So if I only had like 1 strength, I could go to one of these 4 spots, or 2 spots. In a 2-player game, I cannot use those. Because I have 3, I can go over here as well. I can go here or over here. But if I had no strength, then I couldn't have done either one. So you've got to have the virtue in order to do it. And I'm going to gain faith, which is what this is revealed, as Dean showed earlier. He went up in his faith as well. So now I'm going to just take this building, it's ultra simple, cover up one of these spots, and I'm going to get that action. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to place my building here. And this means that I can recruit any of these workers, and I can do so for no coin. So again, normally if you're recruiting, which is an action right here, you're going to have to pay the coins. So I think I'm going to take this so that when I develop, yeah, I can get more of that later on. I'm gonna put this off camera so that I can do this. Now, I also would get a chance to take away one of my suspicions, which I don't have, but so nothing happens there because of that. And those are gonna stay there till the end of the round, and we'll add some more.
All right, so it is my turn. I'm going to go back and retroactively do something that I messed up on again. So at the beginning of the game, you start off with 1 provision.
That's correct.
Then I gained a provision by taking this one. But also when I took the absolve action last time, I should have taken another provision.
Because you got that.
That's right, because of that card. And I'm going to do something very similar to what John did. This is going to cost me a lot though. So I'm going to, part of the reason why I've done my strategy the way that I have is because when I looked up here and saw that when you get your characters out on the board from the commission spot, you have to have, if you have 5 of them out there, then you're going to get 4 points at the end of the game. So I was kind of doing the things that I was doing up until this point so that I could do this. So I'm going to take the commission action. The purple one can count as any worker, so I actually don't have to have the monk in that one.
So that's the bonus to having those. Which you can place any color worker here to be able to get one, but then you have to take a suspicion. So
that's right. Okay, so now when I do this, it's going to cost me a provision to remove this one, and I'll move up 1 on my blue track.
Influence.
I think it's driving John nuts.
Influence.
All right, and then because I actually have a level 2 on my faith, I'm going to do the same thing that John did, actually. So I can go over here, correct? Because I've got 2
that's 100%
on there.
Right.
So I'm going to do the exact same thing that John did and be able to recruit one of those without having to pay a coin. And I think what I'll do is I would like to be able to get some points from either, coins from either fortifying or taking the commission action. And I think what I will do is take the gatekeeper, and that will give me a coin. I'm just going to cover up this other card. Now that'll give me a coin every time I take the fortify action, or anytime I put one of those cards out there. So
there you go.
All right.
What's interesting too, what Dean mentioned is like he can go for this, but these later on are going to be worth a little more, so you can risk it.
That's right.
Because there's going to be, basically these are going to correspond with these actions over here, and so it is risky to maybe wait because it might not show up and you may get none.
That's right.
So
That's right.
It's kind of interesting. Okay.
But it always benefits you to take those anyway. So.
It does. It's my turn, and I'm not going to use it. So you're able to save up to 3 workers per round. I have 1. And I'm going to save that worker.
All right, I have 0 workers as well, so I'm going to be done.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to, anyone's going to fall off to the right if this right worker was not used, and to the left of these outsider cards, and then we're going to shift them down. So, and then we're going to draw to the right and fill up the rest of these.
Talk amongst yourselves while you're waiting on us to...
I'm also going to pass this over to Dean. And he's going to be the first player this round. These are going away. And we are going to flip 3 of those over, and I will reveal, fortifying. So the same thing as that, for 5 pieces of the wall that you could build, you get 6 victory points if you can do that over the course of the game.
All right, then we're going to take our 3 cards and do the same thing we did for that first round. You're going to keep 1 into play, and you're going to put 1 at the top of your pile and 1 at the bottom. Ooh, that's pretty good. Okie dokie. And we can go ahead and take our workers. There are lots of workers, by the way, big piles of workers. we have to have them off camera because we have so much stuff on the camera as it is. So.
Yep.
All right, and then I will get to take one of these cards, and ooh, this is a tough decision. I didn't take my workers off.
Yeah, we need to do that. That's a huge part of the game.
Can't leave those workers there. You have to take those off. This is a difficult one for me because I really would like blue. Those monks are really helpful too. So I think what I will do is I'll take this one right here, which is going to give me 2 blacks, a green, and a blue.
Okay, I'm going to take this one right here, which is going to get me 2 clerics, a laborer, and a blue. For what that one is. Oh, and then I get 2 greens for that. And
all right,
Dean's turn. Yep.
Okay, now I kind of made a mistake here, but maybe not.
What's your bonus for the round? We didn't.
Oh, sorry, I didn't say. So this one, I gain a blue and a black worker, and then absolving, which is this bottom action here, cost no silver to take that action.
For me, hunting gains 2 additional provisions.
All right, so I think what I'm going to do is I will take the absolve action, and I'll place a monk and a blue worker there. Now that's not, normally it would cost me 2, but again, it's not going to cost me anything. I have to have 1 on my blue track there. My
Influence.
driving you nuts every time, isn't it? And I will move up on my faith track when I do that. Let's see. Now I get to place this over one of these, and I'm not quite sure what I want to do. I think what I'm going to do is put it over this one, which lets me take all the workers off of one of my spots so that
you could use it again.
So that I can use it again. Oh, but I'm not going to have enough. I'm going to pass on that. Hold off on that. I'm going to take the action which lets me take one of these cards and
keep that engine going.
Keep it without having to pay the cost. So,
yep. Okay.
All right. That's it for me.
Okay, I am going to do the simplest thing that I'll definitely do this round is I'm going to hunt, which because of this I get 2 additional provisions, so I get 5 provisions. So
I'm running out of space here.
Yeah.
All right, so John took his action. I'm going to put a blue and then a monk and then a green worker. I use some theme in talking about what I'm doing, but not very much apparently. All right, then when I do that, I'm going to take the fortify action, which is going to allow me to draw a card. I will have to pay a provision to do that. So I'll throw that in there, and I'm going to draw one of these cards, and it's going to go right here, and I immediately get to move up 1 on my strength track and take a green worker. That's it.
Yeah. I think I'm going to fortify as well. I feel that you are definitely beating me so far. You're being way more efficient. All right, so I'm going to fortify. Now I need to have 0 influence, which I don't have any. So yeah, and I need to spend a provision. Did you provision for that? Did you spend a provision for that?
Yes, I did.
All right, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take this top card. All right, and so I don't care about the suspicion. I will gain a strength. And I want to gain strength because I want to be able to garrison more. And I'm also going to go ahead and get 2 coins, and they're not red, so there we go.
All right, and what I would like to do, I don't necessarily want to spend my workers, but I'm going to do that anyway just because it's the last round we're going to play. I'm going to put these in the hunt spot, which is going to give me 3 provisions by doing that. That's kind of setting me up for later game when I can start. I would like to start getting. Oh, I'm sorry. I do this a lot. When I took my fortify action earlier,
you didn't get your.
I did not do this, and I also didn't do this for my absolve. So I'll just do that real fast. Sorry. Normally we wouldn't keep doing this, but I don't want to miss these rules and forget to show you that.
I do want to say that is one thing about the game. It is very easy, especially if you're Dean. No, or the first
On
time
the camera, it's a little tricky.
Honestly, the first time you play it is because you're trying to think of what you're talking about.
Right.
But the first time or two you're playing it, that does happen quite often.
Yeah.
I noticed that happen with people. All right, I'm actually going to not do anything and save these 2 workers for the next round.
All right, and I only have 1 worker left. It's not going to do me much good. Now, I could use this to conspire. Hey, why not? We're finishing this up, right? And we'll show them how that does that. So I put that worker there. I'm going to gain a purple worker, which acts as a wild, and then I'm going to gain this card again. Not what you want, however, I'm going to gain 2 coins. And so that really...
But he's also getting closer to that.
That's right. To being able to get a debt card. Not being able to get one.
Well, he kind of likes debts. If you can flip debts over, they're worth a victory point, so they're not all bad.
And so for me, I'm absolving a lot, and when I do that, it lets me flip over 2 different debt cards throughout the game, so I don't mind getting coins early on with that. So anyway, let's move on to some of our thoughts of the game. The art and components. What do you think?
Okay, so if you've looked at Raiders, if you've played Raiders, if you've played Architecture of the West Kingdom, it's the same thing.
Sure.
I love the art.
In not a bad way.
No. I love the art in this whole series. And this is also, Dean and I in our podcast have had these discussions about these more expensive games that are coming out, $70, $80 versus this is a $40 game. Mm-hmm. I would much prefer paying $40 most of the time, unless it's just a game I think is through the roof.
Yeah.
But I mean, almost 100% of the time, I would rather pay $40 for these wooden pieces and the good quality cardboard. These are good quality cards as well. Linen finish, sure. I like them. Now I don't get metal coins and stuff like that, but I'm okay with it because I just paid $40 for this game. I think that the components are excellent for the price.
Yeah.
For the price, they're excellent, and the art's great.
And if you have Raiders, just take the metal coins out of there. It's the same coins, right?
That's it.
Or you could buy those if that's something that you want in general. But yeah, I'm with John. I think it's pretty fantastic, all the art. And I will say one more thing with the graphic design. You saw there's a lot going on here, and it can be really convoluted potentially, but I think the graphic design on here is really well done. Everything is very intuitive, from the information on the cards to the board
right
to all of this. I think it's done really, really well. So, but gameplay, let's talk about that.
All right, you want to go first or you want me to go?
Oh, sure, I'll go first.
Alrighty.
I think this is a fun game. Now, I've enjoyed the games that I've played in this series, so that wasn't really a surprise. But some of the things that I really enjoy about the game, I really enjoy the Orleans type gameplay. Now, it's not a bag building game, but the way that you're placing your workers out on the board feels a lot like Orleans in a very good way. But also, I love, I really enjoy lots of different ways to score victory points. I love point salad games, Feld style games, and this is very, very much that way, because you can gain, you're getting all your points at the end of the game, which is kind of nice. You're not having to keep up with all the points, but you're getting points from moving up on the track here. You're getting points from meeting these conditions. You're getting points from removing buildings from here.
There's
some of
debts that you can
cards
do
from here that you right. So
these
are
all
all kinds of ways to get points.
Sorry, I didn't mean
no, you're fine. You're fine.
We didn't mention these. I want to make sure these are all going to be in-game scoring cards that you can do by converting, and they actually would come down here. And anyways, you can also attack them and kill them for the thing in the top right. I guess you're killing them. Maybe you're taking them prisoner.
Maybe.
I don't know.
But those are the things I really, really love about it.
Yeah, I agree with what Dean's saying here. Like, there's definitely a lot of ways to score points. And here's the thing. You might think you're kind of doing the same actions. Does it get samey at all? And it doesn't get samey. And the reason it doesn't get samey is because, A, these cards are going to be different every game, and so they're going to maybe lean you towards doing some other action. Right. In addition to that, these are going to be different every game, so they may lean you towards going in another direction. In addition to that, these labor cards are going to be different, and that might have to lean you towards doing some of those actions because they're not being flipped over with a lot of red workers, which there's none there. So wow, I can't really do a lot because I don't have that unless I want to come down here and conspire. Then if I want to do that, do I want to figure out ways to flip over debts a lot and get victory points that way? So because of the way the cards come out, to me, it feels different every single time I play it, which I was a little worried about that at the beginning, but I'm not worried about that anymore. It's really, really, really fun. I also really like how you have to do that paladin thing at the very beginning. Yeah. It's such a simple mechanic, but so interesting because you're making that decision decision. What do I want to play here? Like, for example, I might not have played this early in the game because I mentioned earlier that if I would have held garrisoning, maybe put it at the bottom of the deck, then I might be able to get more out of it later because maybe I would be further along where it would cost me 3 provisions. I only saved 1 provision by doing that. So was that really worth it? I don't know. And maybe I should have just waited till later on, again, put it at the bottom of the deck and waited till it came back around. So that's neat.
Yep.
I mean, I really think that that's neat. I think it's neat how you're removing these and you're going up this virtue track, which I really like in this game. Now, it is something that you can forget easily, too. Like, it's easy to forget, like, oh, you just want a garrison, so you're ready to put your workers and go, oh, shoot, I don't have enough strength to do what? To go out and to go to this 3rd spot here. So, oh man, that happens a lot. Same thing as what Dean was doing over here and forgetting to pick up things. Like, those are 2 things that as you begin to first play, I do think that you can forget quite often.
And that's what I was going to say as my negative, is that the upkeep in this from your turn, not just being able to pay the amount of resources that you need, but also remembering this triggers this, which triggers this. And if you know me, if you listen to reviews of,
you don't like that too
Teotihuacan, for example, is one that is that to an extreme. This has that a lot, like this thing triggering this thing, and you could easily forget this. Now, it most of the time is pretty easy to go back and count to make sure that you've done everything correctly, but it still can be a hassle. So if that's an issue for you, this might not be a game for you.
Yeah, and there's also not a lot of player interaction if that's super important for you. So the way you're going to play or interact is on this little spot here where you're going to go out and someone could block you. But you're also going to play interact here. So there is ways to kind of hose other players. So I could do things that I know I'm going to get, like this card is going to let me get red taxes. So maybe I do develop 2 times next round by praying and getting my workers off and placing them again. If I wanted to make Dean take these, well, I mean, not take these, I take these, which would make Dean incur a debt because he has the most suspicion. So you can try to time that correctly to where you're not getting the debt. But again, the debt's not all that big of a deal.
No, because there's lots of ways
so
to
it's
get rid
not,
of the
to
debt.
me, it's not that mean. I mean, it's not. So, but if you're heavy into super player interaction, this is not, I don't think this is the game for you. But there is some.
Yeah,
There
I
is
agree with
some.
that. Let's get to our final rating overall. So for me, I quite enjoy this one. Now, when I'm looking at the games that I've played in the Garfield, the Renegade series, I would say that this is probably my least favorite out of Raiders, Architects, and Paladins. Those are the only 3 that I've played. But that's not a bad thing. I've just really enjoyed the game. So for this one, I give this one a 7.5. It's one that I quite enjoy. I'm probably not going to turn down to play this because I really enjoy it that much. But I could see it, if it's a game that I haven't played all that much, to kind of go back and think through how everything plays out. Not necessarily the gameplay itself, because I think that's pretty intuitive, but some of the strategies and some of the different pieces that play out, just remembering how all that plays out. So, and the fact that the upkeep can be an issue for me, that definitely knocks it down a little bit for me, but that's my personality.
All right, so for my final thoughts, now I have played Raiders of the North Sea, I've played Architects of the West Kingdom, and if you went back and watched my top 50 video, both of those were on that. I really enjoy those games. So I wondered, could this be up there with those games? Now, I watched some people talk about talk about Paladins of the West Kingdom. I watched some videos before I got this, and I got excited because either people were pretty much giving it, "Whoa, I love this game," or they were saying, "I don't love it, and here's why. Because it's not that thematic, and because it's heavier than the other games." Mm-hmm. Guess what? I don't care. I could give 3 rats behinds.
Wow.
Is that a phrase?
It is now.
Whether a game is thematic. Actually, I'm okay with, I like thematic games, but honestly, mechanics, making the interesting decisions is what really gets me excited in a game. So I don't care that it's not that thematic. It's not. It's not totally devoid of theme, but it doesn't feel that thematic. You think it's totally devoid?
I think so. Well, part of the reason why I like Architects better is because that theme really does shine in Architects more, and Raiders more than this one.
It definitely does. But also, what was the second thing that I just said?
Theme?
No, heavier.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It is heavier. This is the heaviest of those games. Now, I haven't played Shipwrights, this is the heaviest game he's made. There's no doubt about it. Uh-huh. And I will say, I just have a blast playing this game. It even has, to me, some tapestry kind of feels, which is why 7.5 is a good score, but I thought Dean might even go a little higher because when I say Tapestry, you're removing buildings like a Tapestry, you're unlocking things like Tapestry. Now, you're not getting perpetual bonuses, but you're getting one-time bonuses. It's very tracky. You're going this track to that track. I love how you have to have, is that a phrase? Tracky?
Well, no. I was just saying that you kind of answered your question. That's part of the reason why it is not as high, is because I love Tapestry, but it's that upkeep because of the trackiness in this one. So.
And I could say that can be a slight negative maybe to this game. I've done the same thing that Dean had done a couple of times, like forgetting, oh shoot, I forgot that if I develop I get a coin. That definitely does happen, especially the first time or two that you play this game. But honestly, I'm having a hard time finding a lot of things that I don't like about this game. It's, to me, better than Raiders, and it's better than Architects, which are games that I thoroughly enjoy. I really like this game. I give it a 9 out of 10, meaning it's one of my top games of the year. It even surprised me. It's better than I expected it to be. Just so many interesting decisions. It feels so different every time you're playing because of the reasons I mentioned earlier. Even with the Paladin decks, you just might not draw the cards that you think you want to draw to do what you were going to do, and you have to kind of shift gameplay, so you're constantly having to do that over the course of the game, and it's a blast. 9 out of 10, super fun.
Yeah, it is fun, and my 7.5 is a good score.
Oh, it is.
I'm defending myself for a second.
No,
but
7.5 is, I agree.
I will say this, you're right, it has a Tapestry feel, and it has an Orleans feel, it has a feel of some other games. Now here's the thing though, just because you put those things that I love in those other games in a game and combine all those together doesn't mean you're going to love the game.
Absolutely not.
Because what it can do is convolute all of that, you know, potentially. Now, it does have the Tapestry feel and Orleans, but I like both of those games much, much better for me. But a lot of people love this game, so.
Yeah, I mean, if I like Orleans better still, I believe. But this is really good. This is really good. Now maybe they come up with, yeah, I don't know. I have to play them. They're really close. I don't want to make a call about that. Now if they come out with some more expansions for this, who knows? I'm talking about Orleans with expansions. Base Orleans, this might be better. It's my opinion. I know you disagree with that, but
that's all right. That's all right. All right. So that is a 7.5 for me. Which, by the way, that is a good score. I really enjoy this game quite a bit. I do enjoy this game a lot.
This is better than Orleans base game. I'm going to make the call. Base game Orleans gets a little tired.
That is wrong, but John gives it a 9. I give it a 7.5. Tell people how they can get in touch with us.
All right, so if you're enjoying our channel, we would love for you to subscribe to it. Even click on that bell to get notifications for when we're coming out with new videos. We have a podcast where we just actually talked about this game in more detail than this. Just go on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, all those kind of things, Spotify. Look up Meepletown. We're at Meepletown Games on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and we are Board Game Geek Guild 3407.
Thanks for coming down to Meepletown.
Thanks for joining us, and be sure to follow us on Twitter at Meepletown Games, and connect with us on the Meepletown Guild, Guild number 3407, at BoardGameGeek.com, and also subscribe to our podcast and YouTube channel. And until next time, thanks for coming down to Meepletown.